So the other day, I was thinking about some of my favorite stories from Hindu mythology, and this one popped into my head. It's actually about Kumbhakarna. But before I tell you the story, let me quickly explain who he is. He's the brother of Ravana and the son of the demon king Mayadas. His name comes from the fact that he once drank an elixir that gave him immense powers, but also made him fall into a deep slumber for 6 months every year. In case you don't already know him, Kumbhakarna is one of the most beloved characters in Ramayana, but a really complex character with a lot of different sides to him. Well, it turns out Kumbhakarna is much the same. Although he's usually portrayed as a loyal and steadfast servant of Ravana, the story I want to tell you today shows us there's more to him than meets the eye. The woman told her about how she had killed her father-in-law, and now her husband was going to die too. In order to save both of them, she offered her a chance to atone for her sins by serving her for 6 months. If she agreed, she promised to use her powers to save both Raghava and his son. Now, if you've watched any of our videos on Ravana, then you probably know that he's not just a villain. After she spent 6 months serving Kali, the goddess was very pleased with her devotion and granted her a boon. She could ask for anything she wanted. Either you can give up your life and join your father in death, or you can live for 10,000 years while he remains trapped in his stone form. Hearing this, the young prince was torn. He loved his father very much and couldn't bear the thought of leaving him alone in his current state. It's time for you to fulfill your final task. Go to your husband's kingdom and find a great yogi who can help him. But at the same time, he didn't want to die either. She traveled all over the kingdom, but she couldn't find a yogi powerful enough to break the curse. Feeling hopeless, she went back to the forest to end her life. Shiva agreed to help her, but told her he needed 6 months to gather his strength. During those 6 months, he lived in a cave in the forest and meditated. Meanwhile, the queen waited patiently outside the cave. As soon as she vanished, Raghava appeared in front of her and told her he had come to take her back home. She turned around and saw a handsome man with a third eye on his forehead. If you did, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on any of our amazing stories. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. He introduced himself as Lord Shiva and asked her why she was in the forest. But Shiva refused, saying only gods are immortal, and humans must live and die like everything else in the universe. The queen kept begging, but he wouldn't change his mind. Finally, he agreed to give her son a different boon. He got angry and tried to force her, but as soon as he touched her, she transformed into Kali. Then she disappeared again and reappeared in her true form, along with Lord Shiva. Now, if you're wondering why he has a big nose, that's because it's a result of the curse that turned his father into stone. The curse also made him forget everything about his past life, including his identity, which is why he doesn't recognize Rama as his brother in Ramayana. Together, they went to Raghava's palace and broke the curse. He thanked Shiva and the yogi for saving him and asked them what he could do for them in return. Shiva told him he didn't need anything, but the queen took this opportunity to ask for a boon for her son. You will have immense strength and you will live for 10,000 years. The young prince was disappointed that he wouldn't become immortal, but he still accepted the boon. The king was freed from his stone form, and everyone in the kingdom rejoiced. But she refused, saying she didn't want to leave. Raghava was confused and asked her why she didn't want to go home. She told him she wanted to stay in the forest and meditate on Kali. Once upon a time, there were 2 friends named Sri Raghava and Sri Ramachandra. It contained a prophecy that said one day he would lose his life because of his own son. When he heard this, he was deeply disturbed. So he went to see his friend Ramachandra for advice. Shiva told her to punish him, and she turned him into a pillar of stone. She then disappeared again, this time appearing in front of Raghava's son. Just as he was about to end his life, Kali stopped him and told him, "You are very brave, but there is still hope for your father. If someone can break this curse, he will be freed from his current form. But it won't be easy. No ordinary person can do this. Only a great yogi with divine powers can reverse the curse." But unfortunately, even after doing all that, his son ended up killing him one day. When this happened, Raghava's wife blamed herself for following her father-in-law's orders and not protecting him. She decided she couldn't live with the guilt anymore, so she went to the forest to end her life. They were close friends since childhood, but when they grew up, Raghava became a great warrior king, while Ramachandra became a humble hermit. But Raghava was still worried. So Ramachandra suggested that he perform a yajna or sacrifice to appease the gods and ask them for protection from evil. Even though their lives were very different, they still remained the best of friends. And now, without further ado, here's the story of the giant who slept through a war. One day, Raghava came across an ancient scripture while strolling through his treasure vault. When Ramachandra heard the prophecy, he told his friend not to worry about it, because it was just a prediction, not a command from fate. Raghava did everything the hermit told him to do. He organized a huge yajna with all the rituals and offerings. Just as she was about to do it, she met a beautiful woman in the forest who asked her why she was crying. She accepted the offer immediately. But what she didn't know was that this woman was actually the goddess Kali, the consort of Lord Shiva. But before she could say anything, Kali disappeared. Raghava tried to convince her to come back, but she wouldn't budge. They were both very angry with Raghava because he had tried to kidnap her. She told him, "You have caused great pain to your father. Now I will give you two choices." After thinking for a moment, he finally spoke up and said, "I don't want to live without my father. I'm ready to give up my life." Then she disappeared again. This time she appeared in front of the king's wife and told her, as soon as she vanished, the queen set off on her journey. Just then she heard a voice saying, "Who's there?" She told him everything that had happened and begged him to help her husband. After 6 long months, Shiva emerged from the cave and told her he was ready to help. The king was overjoyed to see his wife and son again. She asked Shiva to grant her son the boon of immortality. He said, "From today onwards, you will be known as Kumbhakarna." And that's how Kumbhakarna, the son of Mayadas and brother of Ravana, came into existence. And that's all we have for you today. We hope you enjoyed this episode of our channel.